Hi, and welcome to Just Be. I'm Coach Jenn B with Agakura, and we're here to chat and sip and go through some different topics today. So thanks for joining us. Like and subscribe if you're new. Make sure you add comments. And Agakura, we're here to going to be talking about today. We're going to launch with how to look for a coach. Why is that important?
How to look for a coach and why is it important? I think that um, I've had experience both with therapy and coaching. And I found that, but at the time when I took therapy, it was really important. So I would also say, we could also say how to look for a therapist or how to look for someone who guides you, who helps you,
Yes.
right? Um, why is that important? I think because life isn't meant to be done alone, because we have friends and family. And most of the time, and I can say that for myself as a friend, we will try to um, maybe not confront someone with things. I mean, a coach is not someone who just like comes with the hammer, but they may ask you questions that people who know you may not.
Yes.
Um, and they create a space where you as a person will also dare to actually say what's important to you. Like with some people, with some relationships, I don't know about you, there's some things I wouldn't say.
Mm-mm.
Especially for example, now with building a business. There's some people I wouldn't feel comfortable about saying that I actually want to be really like what success looks like for me
Right.
and how much money I would like to earn. It would be more like, mm, oh, really? I didn't think that of you.
I feel the same. So yes, luckily we both had the therapy and the coaching experience. And it's definitely, it's the right one, if it's for therapist and a coach, either or both. I used both and I have both because different things are happening in life that I need different perspectives and objective support. So I would choose them for a coach because I got stuck in my business and couldn't figure out how to get myself through it. And I was just putting my head down and going, like trying to push through, and it wasn't working. So the coach helped me rethink that, which then also led to me going, oh, and finding out I was later an ADHD person and going, oh, that's why these things aren't happening. And I can, and that's why guilt and shame was being created. So there was a circle came together. My therapist is amazing. And I look for, so here's what I look for. And if it helps any of you, I hope it does. Write them down. If it doesn't, it's okay. That's just what works for the two of us. I look for someone with humor because as an ADHD person, I've always been the person to throw in a joke or make it funny or make it fun. So I look for someone who's humorous, but not telling inappropriate humor at the wrong time, depending on what it is for therapy and coaching. I look for someone who can acknowledge and hold space for me and see me without the judgment of, well, you're ADHD. No, that's not true. That's not real. No gaslighting. I definitely love support and authenticity. And I really, really appreciate when they ask permission to share their examples. Is it okay if I share something about me? Is it okay if I share this example? Please let me know if it's too much. I really appreciate that because not only are they holding the space still for me, but they're still seeing me and not putting something on me, if that makes sense. What do you look for, Agakura, in all of that?
It's so interesting. When you started with humor, I was like, why have I always considered these spaces so serious when I'm actually a person who appreciates humor, appreciate laughter. I'm giggly. I mean, as you say, like appropriate, but still like I love when things are fun. And yet I always thought like if I go into a session, like I had a coaching, I worked with a coach once, um, where I would go into the sessions nervous and think, what's the right answer to this question? Because
Mm.
she had such an intimidating energy. For her, she was confident. And yet, if you are intimidating, is that really something that you want? Do you want your client to be in a session being like, is she going to cut me off? So she would cut me off. And here's one thing that I look for. I want to be able to finish my thought line, to be able to speak and not think like, because for me, cutting off, not cutting off when you're like talking with friends and then someone is like, oh yeah, now that you're saying this. No, but the cutting off when you're in the middle of a thought process and someone says, I don't think that's like hitting my fingers.
Oh,
So I've had bad experiences and I've had good, like good for me and bad for me. I mean, I'm not generalizing that. And the experience that did benefit me were one where I really felt safe and held. I
mm,
was able to explore my thoughts. So the first thought was never the one we went with, but she would rather be like, "Oh, that's interesting. Oh yeah, I love that." When someone hears you say something and they're like, "That's interesting. Would you care to explain more?" So a space where you can explore because most of us have not had those spaces.
yes. Oh, the exploring more. Yes. That actually validates you, your experiences, and how you interpret them instead of minimizing. I love that one. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And that's really important, the validation and the um like we are taught like the coach is the guide and the side. So I'm not going to running to the match and take the ball and say, this is how you throw it. I'm just guiding you. And
Yes.
even if the decision looks like something that you may look back in a couple of months and years and say, if this is where you are now, that is what we're going with. We're going with what you
Yeah.
say.
Mm. Because the coach, I love it, is the guide. We don't give the answers. We guide to your own answer. And that
Mhm.
doesn't mean we make it easy either. We're like, you can just come in and I could say, Agakura, so what do you think is holding you back? And you'd be like, oh, maybe it's just I'm tired. Okay, let's talk more about that. I'm tired. Tell me more. It's not just it's not just an easy off either. There's a process to a answer.
Or one of my favorite questions as a coach, not as a client, is how is this behavior serving you?
Oof.
As a coach, it's like, And as a
Mhm.
client, it's like, you know what? Choose the finger.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I love when that gets even from therapy to my coach, just being asked those questions where I'm like, you just stepped on me. Ow. Okay, you saw me. Thank you for calling me out. Because there's times that a little bit of that's another thing to look for is it's a loving, encouraging oomph, like a push in the right direction type of feel. I would also look for that. I don't want someone who's just like, "Oh, you're okay. What you did is great. It's okay." That there's a place for that, but there's also a place for tough love in a positive way.
Mm.
Not toxic positivity, but
Yeah,
encouraging.
yeah. And it's like you told me you want to climb, I don't know, Everest. And here you are, with with some behaviors that won't help you to get in shape.
Right.
So I have to, because that's what you told me, you want to climb Everest. I have to advocate for that. So you made me a co collaborator
Right.
with your dream.
Right.
So if I see you doing things that may not be helpful to get to that, it's also my job to be, and it's the job of a coach to do that to me and to be like,
Yes.
so you told me you want to set up your website by then. How is how is putting that off for days and weeks? How is it serving your plan that you want to see? And that is ouch. but then we can talk, we can open a conversation where maybe I'll go like, yeah, it's my thing with visibility, tech, whatever would come up then.
Whatever is coming up. And then you can also do the whole with that measurement. Well, is this still something you want to do? Do you still want to have your hike to top of Everest, or do you still want to accomplish the website by such a date? Is this still something that feels strong for you? And it's not, there's no judgment then. It's a reevaluation, a remeasuring of,
Yes.
was it an emotional buy-in that you set this goal like everybody's going, so I need to go? Or was it truly something there was a different reason about it? So there's times where in my journey I've learned when you're with a large group of people and the energy is just pumping and it's high and you're at a conference and big dreams are being set and you're like, I'm going for the million or this or that. It's a big emotional buy-in that when you leave that bubble, is there still that same level of buy-in, or are you kind of having reality going, my commitment to the hours put into that might actually be less of this and more of this. So it's okay to have a reset.
Mhm. And I think that's where what for me coaching is that space. So the playground
Mhm.
is yours, the rules are yours, and you have someone who is there to be like, okay, how do you want to play this? What game is it? Um, and what are the rules? And then I'll remind
Mhm.
you of the rules. Like, I think that,
I
so
love
when you
that.
do values, when you find out, like when you help someone find out what their values is, or just like elicit them, and you could always be like, what was one of your core values? Like go back to those. That's all you do. You work with the
Yeah.
information that you've been fed.
But
You don't
right.
assume as a coach. And I think that's important if you're looking for a coach. Like if they assume because they've had other clients or they themselves, that's the way, that is not a safe space. So I
Right.
would always encourage you to follow your intuition. If it doesn't feel safe, don't make it safe. Don't think it or don't talk it safe, as in, yeah, but then I like the seat and the cushions. Yeah, if the
Mhm.
person in front
No,
of
that's
you
people
is
pleasing also. And that's putting on another mask to pretend you're somebody for someone else's um, confidence or the validation. So yes, no, I agree with that. If it doesn't feel right to you, even if you feel safe, but it's not hitting the chords, it's not going in the direction you want it to, it is
yeah.
okay. And you should look for something else that works for you.
Mhm.
And the benefit of a coach, huge. You can, like Agakura is saying, it is your playground. You tell us what you want your rules to look like. We will guide you around the playground and see where you're getting stuck and help you through. If the tunnel's too small and you really need to use the slide, we will help you do that.
Mhm.
Yes. So
Yes.
that's what a good coach would do. A good therapist walks you through lots of different other scenarios. And again, trust yourself. So let us know in the comments what your experiences have been, what you've enjoyed, what you haven't, what you've learned. We always are sharing what we learn, how we implement it. Please
Yeah.
share with us. And you will notice a link in the description that says contact us at justbe.conversations@gmail.com. So send us a little note.
Can
What
I
would,
ask a last question?
oh, I was just
Sorry.
going to say, what would you like to leave this with?
I was just wondering, Jen, if someone is in a place listening to this and thinking, how do I know if I need a therapist or a coach right now? I know
Oh,
you had both. I've worked with both, but I worked with a therapist first and then later in my 30s with a coach. What would you say? How would you decide?
mm. I love how each journey is personal. So I will share
Mm,
how I started and why I've switched.
mhm.
That doesn't mean that's going to be your specific journey, but I started with a coach because I thought that's what I needed to get through this. It's just a business. I just needed to get through it. And in my coaching, I learned that there was other um, deeper emotional things that needed to be some healing. And then along comes ADHD, which brings a whole other pattern of well, now how do I work with my brain and my mind and the way it wants to work? So therapy came into play then. And then I learned to meld the two. And therapy really helps me clear a lot of the, if I'm in an ocean and I'm learning to tread water, my therapist is telling me, you got this, the water, tread it like this, swim like this. My coach then says, here's a life raft, there's the island. So the therapist and the coach are guiding me both together to the island. One is helping me to stay afloat and really understand my power, and the other is guiding me to the journey I want to be on. That is probably the easiest way for me to explain my own personal experience.
I love the picture because ideally they work hand in hand, right?
Ideally, if you have a coach who decides they want to be your therapist, to me, that's a big, don't step there. Hopefully, they want to partner with a therapist and then they want to hear what you're working on so they can help you with that also. Yeah.
Mm, right. I was also thinking because in therapy, there was a lot of childhood wounds that just came up, or it was also the first time I had the space to feel like I could question the adults of my childhood. That was huge.
Yes.
And she was like, nothing bad is going to happen. You are allowed, and I know they loved you and you loved them, but you are allowed to say what hurt you. And I was just thinking also of this analogy of maybe having a torn muscle and then it needs to heal. And that's what happens in therapy because it's like this is this knowledge about how to heal this muscle. And then when you learn to go to rehabilitation and you learn to use that arm again, that's now the coach, but making sure that that has been healed.
That is very good.
So
I like
that
both.
was my experience, right? And I
Yes.
know that in our neurotransformational coaching, we actually have also tools to go into the wounds.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's always like, okay, before we build your business, let's look into that inner child that still feels they're
Love
less.
it. It's all connected.
Mhm.
And you just brought up a point that made me go, ooh, I think where therapy is the strongest for me is when I get feelings of overwhelm that can lead to anxiety or depression, which creates a whole other thing that coaching can't quite help. So
Mhm.
that gives me the structure for that so that I can keep functioning. And coaching then is okay, they support it, they understand it, they have that. We know your blueprint. You just, okay, now we go this way. I love both of them. I love the PT, the therapy of it, the making it stronger, the building on
Yeah.
that. That's
Ex-
perfect. That's awesome. I really enjoyed that one. That one I will stick with because we were talking earlier. We're both into stories. So,
Exactly. We love stories.
well, thanks for stopping by. We will
Thank
chat with you
you.
again soon. Let's like, subscribe, and any parting thought?
Comment. Send us an email.
We'd love to hear from you.
We love you. We love receiving emails. And take care of yourself and really take care of your mental health. And I mean, even when the Christmas tree is not on fire, it's still good to get that guide, that help. Like
Mm.
you go to the dentist not just because of caries, right? I mean, there is like just
There's
the
the
maintenance.
screening and the checkups.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So really put your mental health first, like most of us do with our physical health.
Yes. So, and I will leave you with what I'm always asked at the end of every one of my therapy sessions is, what are you doing for you today?
Oh,
And
I
go do
love
that.
Yes.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.